Yeah, so satellite campuses, there's a massive amount of students on satellite campuses, and they only go there to study and they go home. There's nothing there for students. If you go down to the geology building, I'm actually down there 3 times a week myself. You go in the door, you don't see a student. You go straight into your room and you leave again. There's nothing for students on these satellite campuses, and we need to start combating that to investigate the use of extra space where we can stick a couch, or like I know this year there was a microwave in Brookfield. As far as I'm aware, it's actually been turned off at the moment. But we need to investigate the best ways to keep, a student-oriented campus, not just oriented towards the learning. It needs to be, campuses need to be something for everyone. One of my big points would be to have clinic hours on campus, or on satellite campuses, so we could go to maybe Brookfield one week, the next week could be in the Western Gateway, the next week in the geology building. I know the architecture building down in the middle of the city it's a massive department, and from speaking to the architecture students, they don't even know, what the student union is doing on a regular basis. So we need to get more communication down there, whether it be a billboard with what we intend to do, or a TV screen that's flashing what's going on campus. We need to include them big time, because they're missing out. It's a campus for everyone, and for some reason we're not really tying them in as much as we should be.
I think certainly, look, a UCC building that doesn't have any other supporting facility is just a lecture hall. It isn't comparable to main campus at all. But I wouldn't restrict to just talk about Brookfield and Musgrave and the satellite campuses. Like, there's a lot of clinical sites that students are on placement on. The student union have to be prepared to represent those students as well. A lot of students are placement in hospitals in Tralee, in Clonmel, in Waterford. And I think, I can be a president that will represent them. Certainly, the SU need to have a presence in those places. I'm not, however, convinced that clinic hours is the way to go about it. I think perhaps it's a slightly stale and inefficient way of doing things. I think I can be doing better things with my time than sitting in a room in Brookfield for 2 hours where nobody might come in. Whereas if people know that I'm available, I think a billboard or posters up showing that there's evening presence with my phone number on it. Like, student politics and student representation now, it's not just a 9-to-5 job. So I'm not going to allocate hours, just let them out and divide up like that. I'm always happy to be at the end of the phone or an email. I think most students prefer that that kind of instantaneous response rather than having to wait for a 2-hour slot in a 40-hour week.
And George?
Yeah, I agree. I suppose you made a good point there. In the manifesto I said I'm clinics, I do think that is a good idea for a number of reasons. You have a physical presence, emails are very unpersonalised, which are obviously they're instant and all that, but I do think that you have to have a person to actually talk to somebody. So I think the clinics would be a good idea, and I'd be absolutely open to work and speak to students in all around campus. But I suppose it does make a good point there that we have to make a bigger presence on these areas through billboards and media. But as well, I would think that there has to be an issue drawn as well that students aren't engaging, and to look at why they aren't. If you put votes, look at anything like that, that there's a quarter of students are actually engaging with students. So as president, I would look to really drive student involvement and student engagement in college.
I suppose start with you this time, George. I think our mental health consultations or demand for them has gone up this year with semesterization. So as union president, how would you go about, I suppose, seeking more counsellors or more supports on campus for students?
It's a massive issue. Mental health and key power to great deal this year, I think. Well, I suppose my big idea is the lot, and I think that it can create massive funds for students. So I think that there's definitely money can be made to go towards counselling and getting more counsellors on campus and supporting that way. So that would be how I'd go. There's obviously awareness is massive. I think the talk that they got raising in Joanne was massive. There's massive buzz about it, and I think the more and more talk about it, the more we bring it to the media. So that's a bit more.
Well,
I'd have to agree with George. I think there was fantastic work done this year on the areas around mental health, and people need to know there is a big struggle. I suppose no one can say they weren't ever affected by mental health issues. When first years come in, we need to make them more aware of the facilities that are available, and we need to say, like the peer link system, by peer link, I was met on the orientation day. We were promised 3 or 4 class parties. They said they come down and meet us, and we never saw them again. So we need to keep continuing up, follow up on them, and say, go to first years and say, how are you getting on? What's college like for you? We need to make ourselves we need to increase awareness as well during Mental Health Week. So it'll be nice. We had Brezzy and Joanna Reardon. Why not have a speaker every day? So we're pushing out our boundaries, we're taking our side blocks. As president, it's something that I intend to tackle head on. We really need to come to the fore, I suppose, in Ireland. We are at the fore of a lot of things in terms of student union. We're one of the biggest sabbatical student unions, and we need to start, using our power to become, I suppose, for want of a better word, industry leaders in what we do in UCC. We need to push the student union to push mental health.
Yep, certainly. I think there's 3 things this year. So you need to run awareness campaigns, which destigmatise mental illness. I think there's been great progress made over the last few years, and I certainly think we're moving in the right direction there. So that has to continue. I think the idea of talking to first years orientation is one thing. Secondly, for students who find themselves depressed, we need sufficient support service there. And at the moment, we do Nightline, the student counselling development, like you're saying, Stephen. They've seen a massive increase in student numbers this year. And certainly as President, I'd liaise with them quite strongly to make sure they're getting the resources they need, because if they're not, we'll put that straight to the top of the agenda, and unashamedly so. Finally, I think it's important that, look, everyone's been told to talk, we also need to be able to listen. So I'm sure that the entire sabbatical team and any part-time officers wanted to take part in the ASSIST program. So that's a suicide, I suppose, awareness program. And I'd also try and work with the SOCs and clubs to offer to any auditor as a captain, because I think people in charge, or people who take a lead in student life, I think you'll come across most people, and that people need to be aware that someone might be okay and not just need a helping hand in hand or something like that. So it's really good.